everybody. Welcome to the National Real Estate Post. Frank Ray here. I'm with Mark Skapinetz again. He's our appraiser buddy that we've had on before. We need to talk about some stuff. Again, it's going to be another follow-up to a Kimber White show that we did about appraisal stuff. But before I get started, Mark, I need to get our mention in, and that is, guys, the Kelly Company, Jeanne Kelly, mortgage coach. She can get your client's rental rating for past 2 years on your credit report, on their credit report, I should say, that passes through all levels of FICO, makes it a DULP for the credit decision, and she can do a whole lot of other stuff for you. They are the best credit repair company that's out there. She's been on the Today Show, multiple programs, featured all across the board on national programs. You have to check them out. Jeanne Kelly, Credit Coach. All you gotta do is click the banner you see on your screen right here, or the logo, I should say, or the image right below the video. Click it, get in touch with Jeanne Kelly, get those rental ratings on your credit report, increase the FICO scores, get them better programs, better rates, the whole thing. Do that today. Click the banner. The banner's also over on your right, but it's right down below for ease. Now, let's get back to what we're here to talk about. So, Mark, it was this week. I think it was Tuesday's show, I was talking with Kimber White, National Association of Mortgage Brokers. He found an article in HousingWire that was talking about FHFA's RFI and how that could be used, to help the appraisal process. RFI meant request for information. When Kimber and I were looking at it, wow, this just doesn't make a lot of sense. We were thinking this is kind of nuts, and they were talking about, just have the realtor gather a bunch of information up front, since the appraisal industry is so overwhelmed and they don't have enough people. And literally the tone of the article was, in my opinion, the tone of the article was, well, since the appraisal industry can't get their act together, let's just try and help them out. That was the tone of the article that I got. Now I'm talking to you to come to find out, well, this article didn't come from FHFA. This came from another place. And let's get your thoughts on this whole notion and this proposal. Take it away.
Well, first off, let's get it straight here. The FHFA, the RFI, for this topic on modernization of the appraisal process, they're just looking to get input on how they can streamline things, the problems that are out there, the issues that are out there, and maybe how they can make things better for the GSEs and for lenders. So, we can streamline the process, make it quicker, make it better, but also not add additional risk onto them, so that they don't have those inappropriate risk levels, but things can get better within the appraisal process. So, as you just said, this article on HousingWire wasn't written by FHFA. This was written by an appraisal management company, somebody who works there, with their thoughts and their opinions on what should be done to help streamline this process. Being that it's written by an AMC, in my opinion, it was more to push their objective and push their products. When I say that, AMCs came about to be the appraisal management companies, manage the process. That's what it was supposed to do. Well, over the years, they've managed to get themselves and morph into other entities and other things where they now create products, they create forms, they create all these things and sell them to these lenders, to their clients. So they want to get these products out there and get them in the mainstream. That's kind of where I saw his take on this article that he wrote. It was interesting because you ever think about, you ever go back to 1986? Okay, it's a long time ago, but there was that Peter Bergman ad for Vicks where he says, I'm not really a doctor, but I play one on TV. That's my take on this, because they're suggesting that realtors and other people out there pretend to be appraisers and go out and gather data and do the appraiser's job. It doesn't make sense to me. What could possibly go wrong with having a realtor or a third party untrained person go out and gather data? Now, as a consumer, you're sitting there thinking, hey, I'm paying for an appraisal. I'm paying all this money to make sure the value's right. I'm going to get a knowledgeable appraiser, yada, yada, whatever. Are you really okay with somebody coming into your house that has zero appraisal knowledge, zero training, zero anything? They don't know what to observe. They don't know what to report. It's not as easy as he stated as just taking pictures. You have to look for things. You're trained as an appraiser to look for certain things. I don't see realtors, doing that. You know,
No
I
way.
just can't see it happening. I mean, there's zero liability for the realtor in this. It's all the liability
Oh,
would fall on the appraiser.
let me rebut. No, there's big liability on the realtor for doing this. I'm a practicing real estate agent right now. I would never in a million years ever go say, okay, I went and looked at the house and it's this many square feet and this and that. You know, I would never do that. It's like I am so legally, a target at that point. What if I gave bad data? I didn't mean to. I'm like you said, I'm not a trained guy. I don't know what I would never give that data. In the article, it's interesting because he first starts off by saying, "Wow, there's just so many appraisal waivers. It's so many appraisal waivers," and so then he kind of goes into, but you got this ready workforce out there. Literally, I think he said that the real estate agents out there are like a workforce ready to go. They've got great knowledge of everything. They can help out by providing this information. I just think that for my realtor watchers out there, you chime in down below. Would you do it? I mean, I wouldn't. I would never stick my neck out and say, yeah, I think this is the square footage or anything else about that property, because the real estate agents there, we get sued all the time for crazy stuff. The last thing we'd want to be is saying we said a property was something when it's not. So, I mean, I just find it to be just a completely crazy notion. I just don't see it's just crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mean any disrespect to realtors or anybody else out there, but I mean, I know in my market area, I mean, realtors have a hard enough time putting the proper information into MLS, for us to use and to look at. So, I mean, I can't imagine that they're going to go out to a house and actually, measure it properly to standards, get the correct, gross living area, separate out basements, get the correct pictures, look at everything in depth. I mean, it's not as easy as just taking pictures. You go outside the house, many times we see on MLS where a realtor takes a picture of the house. Oh, it looks great. But then when you get to the house as the appraiser, there's a water tower right next door. There's power lines that were not seen in that picture that are now behind that house. There are external things out there that you need to look at as an appraiser. And if I'm not seeing it and an untrained inspector is not sending me that proper data, how can I properly put a value on your property? It makes no sense.
So we'll just finish this up with this quote. And he says, in the traditional appraisal model, we ask appraisers to perform every single component of the valuation process. This includes lower level aspects like appointment scheduling, driving, and collecting property information. But there's growing evidence that non-appraisers can perform high quality data collection that ultimately empowers the appraiser to focus on what they do best: analysis, research, and determining market value. So as an appraiser, Mark, I mean, does that settle well with you?
It doesn't sit well with me at all, because let's just really quick before we wrap this up, let's go back to this notion that they're going to allow realtors or untrained inspectors, because they can do it, but yet they still have not fixed the darn problem of allowing properly trained trainees to go out there and do it. They won't allow them to go do it, but we're going to allow a realtor or an untrained person to go out there?
Doesn't make sense.
Zero sense.
Makes no sense. Makes no sense. Well, there you go, man. I just wanted to get Mark on here because I knew he'd have some things to say. And I know our appraiser community out there is probably going to chime in on this one too. Maybe even our real estate community. What about our loan officers out there too? What are your thoughts on all this stuff? But good to know that this isn't something that's just going to get rolled out, that they're just somebody making a proposal about something. But I mean, in my opinion, I don't think this one floats.
Just remember this, Frank, I'll end it with this. When we start to choose fast and cheap products and try to get untrained people out there, there's going to be no one else to blame out there, when things go south, and they will eventually, with these kind of choices, there's consequences. And guess who bears the burden of those consequences? The consumers and the taxpayers.
There you go. Very true. Mark Skap, thanks for being on the show. Appreciate you. You guys, leave us your comments down below on this. It's an interesting topic, interesting idea that's being proposed. We'd like to hear what you have to say about it. Do us a favor. Subscribe if you're meeting us for the first time in the upper right-hand corner. Forward and share this. And again, comments down below, always welcome. You guys have a great one. Have a great day. We'll catch you later at the National Real Estate Post. Thanks, Mark.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
See you guys.